So this is what they did. This is one of the things for Wolverine that they ended up doing. Uh, it was Super Gomez and like I'm assuming a couple of friends of his, ended up posting like they ended up doing the damage test after the nerfs to Wolverine. Which I'll go over those in a second. Hey, wanted to ask if you can like and subscribe with notifications on. It helps me out a lot. I would love to do more of this. Now, back to the video. But basically, Wolf versus Groot. So Groot has 850 health. His claw scratches before the hotfix did 260.19 damage, which is 44.25 damage per scratch. And post hotfix, it does 221.97, which this is a pretty huge drop off. This is 40 damage. This is I guess you could say it's like 39 damage, right? Or 38 because it's 0.97. But that's a lot of damage. All right, and then yeah, it goes down from 44 per scratch to 37 per scratch. All right, even if we want to round up, round down, we'll say 38. Yeah, 44 to 38, which is kind of insane. 6 less damage per scratch, and considering how fast he scratches is, this is versus someone who's 650 HP like Thor. If I remember correctly, no, Thor isn't 650. I think Cap is, or Mag. It's one of those. And yeah, Strange used to be that, but Strange got his team up seasonal bonus. Anyways, so against 650s, his pre-hotfix DPS was 207.27, so 207, which is 35 damage per scratch, and then now it's 180.81, so 181, and 31 damage per scratch. That's insane. All right, 4 less damage per scratch here. So what is it? 6 less damage, 4 less damage, and then 275. So like your Lunas and everything. Did 108, which was 18 per scratch, to 103 or 104, which is still basically it's 17.6 per scratch, which if we're rounding is 18, but yeah. And it's break even for 200 HP, which is a net nerf for damage on all heroes aside from Baby Hulk. Against like 275s and like even 300s and 250s, it is pretty negligible, I would imagine, because we're literally talking here, the damage went from 18.3 to 17.6, so you're not going to notice that. And on 250s, it's even less than that, so you're not going to notice that. In 300s, it's probably exactly 1 damage per scratch, so maybe you might notice that one. But yeah, this is a rejoice for Vanguards. Good. We do not like Logan. I'm very, very tired of this character. I absolutely hated him. Solo tanking into him, though, still sucks because he's able to displace you very easily. And he's also able to take advantage of, like, positionings because it's like you don't have another Vanguard there, especially if Emma's banned, right? Especially if you're playing someone like Mag, who is someone that's only reliability is bubbling themselves, and especially if you have to bubble teammates because they're playing dive or your teammates are playing dive and they're coming back from something, it's really, really difficult to like actually, properly manage the stuff. So I still think he's a playable character, and I still think he'll be annoying, and I still think he'll actually be pretty decent, but he is no longer going to be game-breakingly busted like he was before. The other thing I want to pull up and I want to look at is here. Let me pull this one up now. This is just the thing of the patch note. Time to temper Logan's rage and slightly reduce his survivability. Increase Berserker Claw strike base damage from 6 to 8, so that's 2 per like its normal swing. Reduce percentage damage from 4.5 to 3.5, so of course 1% of your max health. He's doing less per swing. 2 damage is not enough to offset that. They probably have to make it like 3 or 4, and then it would offset it, but then he would also still be a little insane, so I'm good with that for now. Increase regenerative healing factor cooldown from 90 to 105. Increase cooldown reduction from 10 to 12. when participating in KOs. I'm actually okay with this, because if you are actually playing like the aggressive wolf, like if you're like a team captain player where you're like grabbing, pulling people off the map, grabbing, putting people off the map, grabbing, putting people off the map, right? Or like actively participating in a lot of kills, you're gonna have your passive back still really, really fast, right? So I'm actually not. I don't think that's too bad of a change. And because of the nature of the character, I don't feel like this isn't like necessarily an entire gutting of the character. Like, it's not like, oh, congratulations. Here, let me fix my mic. It's not like, oh, congratulations, you can no longer play Wolverine now because we decided to gut him. No, it's more of just like, yeah, Wolverine is like slightly less favorable on average now because he was genuinely insane before. What's the other thing? So here I'm gonna also pull up the other part, which is his team up. Primal Flame, Phoenix and Wolverine, or well, Phoenix to Wolverine, but with Phoenix being the anchor. Our Fiery Mutant duo. Here we go. Our Fiery Mutant duo's bond has been a little too hot to handle, so we're cooling down Wolverine's healing when teaming up with Phoenix. It reduced lifesteal gain during Phoenix Warrior from 33% to 25%. I'm kind of iffy about this. The reason why I don't think that they should have, like, I guess, nerfed it as hard is because it's stupid. I'm not gonna say that it's not stupid. It is stupid. It is very much stupid. Okay. But the reason why I think that it would probably have been a little bit better for them to hold back for the time being is because they did just nerf his damage by a considerable margin, right? Like going from 4.5 to 3.5%, like that's pretty big, right? So nerfing the lifesteal in tandem with it, I think, is a little iffy. Also, especially because it's not like we always see them on the same teams. So I don't know how I feel about that. They might have to retweak that, or what they might end up doing is later down the line they might buff him, which will mean that that change is effectively negligible. But you know, and that's pretty much it. Thank God. And just, I guess, the last thing I would like to show is just this. On how they viewed it once during the patch notes. In the recently launched Season 3, we observed that Wolverine, melee DPS, who is the recipient of the team up, Wolverine's new team up ability with Phoenix, who is the anchor DPS, has been bringing a bit too much heat to Vanguards. This duo's combined power has led to battles for Vanguards feeling less like a hero's journey and more like a mutiny, potentially sidelining 80 Vanguard heroes. To restore balance, they mean group. To restore balance and keep the fight epic, we're nerfing Wolverine's team up ability and dialing down his threat level against Vanguards in this update. Which, yeah, it did feel like that. It felt like if you were solo tanking into Wolverine, you were a survivor. You were not, like, you weren't an active player in the game, you were a survivor. And I mean, you could, I think we can see this, like, tank players everywhere were saying this. It's like there was a reason why people weren't playing tank and quick play. But yeah, I am glad that they're touching up on what's actually going on, because this was not okay. This was not okay at all. Like how unbelievably absurd Wolverine was. So yeah, that's about it for the Wolverine stuff. Thank you for sending this to me, Mr. Silent Ghost. All right, back to the games. Yeah, I did find that absurd though.